breaking news going down, everybody. Happy you're here to check it out with us. Very excited about that. But we got a lot to talk about. So now it's time to get into it. Oh, yeah. Get into it, everybody. I want to start off talking about Spider-Man because they made it official. Tom Holland's coming back. Zendaya's coming back. And also Jon Watts are coming back. So they're all coming back for Spider-Man 4. Now, back in December, it's great news. It's great news. So they talked about before, there were rumors about he's going to sign on for 4 movies. And I think that's true because also rumors are saying that Tom Holland will be the Spider-Man moving forward for the MCU as we talked about last week. We're combining all these universes to the new Earth they're talking about, and they're going to save his Spider-Man. But regardless, you're getting a Spider-Man 4. It's supposed to be the Spider-Man in the streets, the different kind of Spider-Man we've seen before of Tom Holland's because he doesn't have all his friends anymore. Zendaya doesn't know who he is, and nobody knows who he is. It's a whole new thing after the events of No Way Home. And for me, I think it's pretty exciting. I love the idea of the whole Daredevil crossover people have been talking about online, that maybe he gets down with Daredevil and then Kingpin gets involved because Kingpin and Spider-Man have a great dynamic. I would love to see D'Onofrio and Tom Holland face to face, fighting out, and him just fucking, throwing Spider-Man across the street and they're punching each other. I want to see it. I want to see it. I've been wanting to see Kingpin with Spider-Man for a long time on the big screen. I think it's time, but it's huge. Kevin Feige was talking about this and Amy Pascal back when they were doing No Way Home press, and they said there were early developments back then, but now they're saying they're going to start filming in 2024. End of the year, they're probably, it just depends on, the strikes and stuff, but mid to end of the year, they'll start filming. And you're going to get some Tom Holland Spider-Man coming back, kicking ass. Is Spider-Man going to become homeless? Well, he kind of is. I mean, he's got he's living in like the apartment in was it not Tom Holland? So many Spider-Men. Tobey Maguire's universe. It kind of looks like that again. He's going back to that world, be living in a one-bedroom, like a studio apartment, and no one knows who he is. He's going back to the streets.
Well,
again.
then Aunt May died, right? In the last one,
she died because he needed to have that moment, Uncle Ben moment, But I hope they go with the Daredevil route. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I want to just speculate. So we know this is happening. We're probably excited about it. But what do we think will be this plot of Spider-Man 4? We know that he's not homeless, but he's out in the streets. He's like that street level superhero again. But where do they go with this? What do you think, Sean? Where do they go with this? Where is this new Spider-Man movie we're going to get, Spider-Man 4? Do you think he's here for actually 4 movies right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's done a fantastic job with the character. I think especially when you look at how his introduction into the MCU was handled. It was a character that was given a lot of room to breathe and kind of come into his own, and he's done fantastic at it. I think giving him the mentor and taking away the mentor of Tony Stark was really great. I think a Spider-Man that's more grounded, akin to the Raimi stuff, I think could be probably a much better approach to him. As someone, I enjoyed all the Spider-Man movies, but I definitely felt like things just got ramped up so quickly because he had to play catch up to the rest of where the MCU was. And yes, we know that the next couple of years are all multiverse and Kang this and Kang that. I would actually like to see kind of Spider-Man stay on the sidelines of this, really just becoming and behaving more as that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I think battling Kingpin makes a lot of sense, especially because a lot of speculation about Vincent D'Onofrio and what they're doing with Daredevil. Obviously, that got rebooted, so. I'm with you, Brian. Like, I would love to see Spider-Man and Kingpin duke it out. It would, Spider-Man 94 vibes, that animated.
Yeah.
Nice to relive that. But yeah, I think ground him a little bit, keep him kind of in the New York kind of scene, and keep it closer maybe to even taking some stabs at the plot of the video game which just came out too. I think that's a rife field of inspiration to pull from as well.
Well, that's a whole thing too. They're talking about how the video games are doing better Spider-Man movies than what they've made. People have been talking about that online too. Like they should take more inspiration from the video games. And I think that's kind of, it's like they get to have free reign though and do whatever they want with them. And then with all these studio heads and stuff and Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal and like Sony and Marvel, like there's a lot more red tape that you can't just have as much fun as you can in the video game world, I think. But I think they should have inspiration from that. Just like Marvel's using comic books more than they were before, before they weren't using comics at all. Now they seem to be going into that material more and more and more, which I think is great. That's where they should be going with that. Sabrina, what do you think? Are you excited about this? Do you think this makes sense? This storyline, this plot? What do you think?
I mean, I do also like him playing Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was my favorite Spider-Man previously, which I know is unpopular. And I also really love the Miles Morales situation of the Into the Spider-Verse world. I think that the last movie was like very successful for me because it was really cool to see him interact with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and I think it was super fun. And I got a dog.
Mimi.
She also really likes Tom Holland. I think he does a great job. I think Zendaya is great. Like I'm super into it. I'm very excited that, especially Rachel mentioned earlier in the chat, like he's back from his pseudo retirement, which I think is pretty fucking funny. So yeah. I just feel like it's a good move on Marvel's part. And Rachel also said another nod to Rachel. Spider-Man is the most solid situation going on for Marvel right now. So they should absolutely try to capitalize on that because the rest of the shit that they're putting out is just that shit. Okay. So absolutely. I'm into it. 2 very enthusiastic thumbs up. 1 paw up for Mimi. We're in.
Well, No Way Home did so well, Sabrina. It really
Fuck
did.
you, Goldie. Yes, it's sponsored by the ASPCA, asshole.
But I mean, Spider-Man did so well. So I mean, like for them to not take time with this franchise and do it right and like really give him his own opportunity, I think would be a shame on Marvel's part because we do love Spider-Man. We love Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and people have fucking like just love the dynamic in his heart and his soul that he's brought to this franchise. And I agree with Sean too. I think that that the Kingpin stuff could be really cool. Take us back to the 90s a little bit, right? Bring that storyline. Is there a storyline before we move on, Sean, that you think that if it's not the Daredevil thing from the comics, that they could actually attack and make great on the big screen? Not Spider-Man's like completely separate.
Honestly, it's been a dream of mine to see the Clone Saga get approached in a movie because a lot of people feel that the Marvel themselves fucked up and really kind of fumbled the bag on that. The One More Day storyline is also another thing that is very polarizing.
I'm going to put her out.
Okay. Is very polarizing of the storyline. You're good. You're on mute now. One More Day. I am actually a really big. If you give me a quick second here.
Go for it.
One of my favorite stories that Spider-Man did in a long. Well, I can't remember what year this was. 1 second. 2007. So this is a series called Spider-Man Reign. And it is basically about an old Spider-Man, old Peter Parker. He's essentially retired as Spider-Man, and he's living still in New York. But essentially, it's been kind of taken over by this authoritarian kind of police state. And very slowly but surely, he is kind of being pulled back into being Spider-Man and encountering a lot of his old enemies and nemesi. And it's really good. It's beautifully done by Carr Andrews, who is a really great guy as well. But yeah, check out Spider-Man Reign. So Clone Wars, One More Day, Spider-Man Reign, I'm all for it. They probably won't do that. I think the biggest leap would be introducing Miles at this point. I think
yeah.
I don't think they'll do it, but I think if they did, it would be like, okay, you're really going for it here.
Would that be a multiverse scenario, Sean? Or
it could be because actually, Peter and Miles actually have some really great scenes together in the Secret Wars book as that showed up. So. He's got to have somebody to play off of. Why not someone that's a little younger than him? I think it would also kind of force Tom Holland to kind of grow up and start kind of taking it a little bit more seriously and whatnot. We've seen the playfulness side of Spider-Man, sure.
That's interesting. What does the Tom Holland Spider-Man look like when he's forced to like accept a little bit more responsibility? Like that's kind of an interesting question.
Give him a Padawan, right? It's not something we've typically got to see in Spider-Man before, and it would be interesting to see it. So yeah, I don't think they'll do it. You never know, but
they did say though that they are going to do Miles Morales. They actually did say that too. And Amy Pascal said that not too long ago that she was planning on a Miles Morales movie of some sort, bringing him into live action. Then the whole question was that, like, the actual actor who's playing the voice, could he play him? He's a little bit older, so maybe not. They probably have to recast him. But maybe that's the idea. Maybe you bring him in. Maybe they bring the Venom crossover. We finally get maybe somewhere down that line. Because if he is going to do it, if Tom Holland's going to do 3 more Spider-Man movies and he's going to do Secret Wars on top of that, maybe there's room for Venom eventually. I don't know. Mike, what do you think? Could you see that happening as a plot point moving forward? Or do you think that they might go with something more safe and not the alien route?
Oh, that cold Spider-Man rain. That was Axl Rose for you, a little Guns N' Roses Spider-Man action.
Great job.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. I'm Spider-Kin. These are the subreddits that I like to explore on the weekend because I'm Spider-Kin like that. Let's not get into that. Brian, I have a question for you because what I heard of before was regarding Spider-Man 4 was a couple of vibrations that Sam Raimi was actually going to be involved with bringing back maybe some old storylines. And this does, when you say Spider-Man 4, that does not seem like what you're talking about. Something that
it takes your mind. Yeah, you're taking your mind to the Tobey Maguire universe because that was something that's been rumored too, that they're going to go that route and the Sam Raimi would come back and they were talking about bringing in, Vulture and trying to do it with, because that whole plot normally was, or was supposed to be.
These were ideas that he was floating around with 15 years ago.
Malkovich was supposed to play Vulture. Mm-hmm. But they said Spider-Man 4. I think people were getting excited about that first, but then this is the 4th Tom Holland movie.
So does that mean that there's still potentially other development talks happening, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard multiple times that Tobey Maguire has said, I want to come back, and he wants to do more. It's just a phone call away. And so if he's open to it, and I know Sam Raimi said something about he'd be open to it too, but they got their money in this franchise. I don't know if they would dive into that, really. I feel like they won't, but then I like the idea, was it Rain, Sean, you were saying, is like an older Spider-Man? So maybe that would be the perfect way to go with him, Then you use Tobey Maguire and have him come back.
That would actually be interesting.
You do this again?
Take a Logan approach to Spider-Man. That might be interesting. I don't know.
Is that something that could ever work with the Spider-Man character, Sean? Or do you think that's just antithetical to what his youthful kind of Spidey vibe is about?
No, I think comic book characters, especially when you take a look at some of the, Marvel used to call it the Alterniverse. DC used to call it Elseworlds, but these characters are meant to be interpreted in different ways because they are, living, breathing ideas, right? You can do whatever you want with them essentially in order to kind of turn them into, whatever suits the story. So I wouldn't say that anything is kind of outside the realm. I think it's what and how it plays into Marvel Cinematic Universe's other plans. I do think it's funny that we've gotten so many kind of, we have 2 Venom movies and there's no real clear path how the hell these 2 characters are ever going to intertwine.
Honestly.
Let alone Morbius showing up with the Vulture for some reason. And, we got a tease of Scorpion. And we know Bad Bunny is coming out with a movie.
They canceled that. They canceled that one.
Thank God.
Yep, they canceled the Bad Bunny one. They were very quiet about it. They just took it off the slate, and then he didn't say anything about it. And then recently, he just made a statement about it. It fell through. Good Bunny. Good Bunny.
It didn't make any fucking sense. El Diablo is not a character, especially from the Marvel, from the Spider-Man verse, with a huge backstory that would take this big, a whole movie to give up. I think it we'll have to see what Craven does. As far as I know, that hasn't been canceled yet, right?
Nope, not yet. Oh, yeah. It's done. It's in the can. It's coming out in November.
Isn't that actor?
Aaron
the one that
Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson.
Yeah, he played. But he also played the Speedster. What was his name?
Quicksilver.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, Quickster. Yeah, Quickster.
Give that guy all the characters. I think he's a fantastic actor.
great.
He's up for Bond too, isn't he? That guy's popping off right now.
That was a rumor, but they just came forward like with the whole Bond franchise and said they have nobody in mind right now. They said they're so far out from that that's why they're doing that reality show, the Bond reality show. He won $1 million, become the next Bond agent. That's coming on Amazon because Amazon bought MGM, and so anything that's and Bond now is Amazon technically. They spent like $1 billion on the Bond franchise, but all the executives said we're not even close to a Bond. Like they're waiting to figure out
bitches.
how Bond works in nowadays society.
It's not worth $1 billion. It's not. It is old as shit. Like they're gonna need to breathe all kinds of life into it if they want.
But that's a lot of staying power, Mike. Like I mean, it's like from the dawn of time.
I think we're growing up as a society.
Well, we are. I don't think we are. No one's growing up.
Maybe Bond could be an old man.
You're giving humanity too much credit.
Take with Bond, and he can be an old ass man.
You're giving Gen Z too little credit, Sabrina. I think they want something different. I think they want a new masculinity. I think they want this, which is way better than Bond could ever be.
Amen.
And Mike, but do they
Mike
control,
baby? Woo!